Aloha! You're listening to Body Worship, an oasis for the mind, a temple for the body, a sanctuary for the soul. I'm Anna Marie, and welcome to my podcast, where we explore the most cutting-edge alternative modalities, ancient rituals, and sacred practices that shaman, yogis, and healers from all corners of the world have practiced to deeply connect with Source. We'll discuss ways to advocate extreme self-care and align your emotional, mental, and spiritual mind, body, and soul. Thanks for tuning in to Body Worship. We are here with Eric and Wynn.
How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
And we're at the Root Kava Bar. So today we're actually talking about Kava and Kratom. Wynn, I would love to hear your story of how you and Katie, your wife, who couldn't be here today, how you guys got involved in the whole Kava movement.
Well, it kind of started about 3 years ago whenever we made the venture up to Colorado from Texas. We found out that our son had epilepsy, and eventually we found out later that he has autism. And in Texas, they wanted to put him on all sorts of different pharmaceuticals that we didn't really agree with. And we tried CBD, and within 3 days, we noticed a marked difference. And we decided then and there that we would pick up our lives and move up to Colorado. And we would give him the CBD and the full dose of THC that he needed to be able to overcome the seizures and help with the autism. So we packed up our stuff, moved up here, and put him on it. And we got up here, he was doing about 9 words, about 2 years behind. And within 2 months, he was up to almost 300 words. And as of today, he's excelling in all of his classes and is basically just doing perfect. It's a totally different kid. It's been great. And then along those lines, Katie found this little bar in the Springs that she started to go to, and she kind of used as an outlet for her rather than drinking and going to the regular bar scene. She found this place, and she met a good bunch of people, and then she kind of had, I'm not going to lie, she had to drag me to it, kicking and screaming.
And it's a Kava bar?
It's a Kava bar.
Okay.
It's a Hana Kava bar in the Springs. I didn't believe all the hoopla about it, but then once I actually started taking it kind of changed me too. I realized how much of a calming and relaxing effect it had, and it doesn't make you feel terrible in the mornings. It makes you it's a very good relaxant, especially when you have 3 kiddos at home. It's kind of a nice little way to unwind. And in the process, we met Eric and John, our other partner, and Pat as well, our other partner. And then we decided that we wanted to do a Kava bar the way we thought it should be done. And so we picked Boulder because it just feels like Boulder was the right place to go. And we established the Root Kava Bar we started this about 3 months ago or so. And we opened 2 weeks ago, and we're really focusing on, being a dedicated Kava bar, educating people about Kava, what its effects are, how it can benefit you, and then giving people a space to be able to enjoy themselves that's not the typical bar scene. And, we're going to have live music and all that good stuff, and just a nice little atmosphere for everybody to hang out.
Absolutely. And I was here for the grand opening, and you guys had an amazing artist here. And I brought, I think, about 10 or 11 people myself. My friends came, and Boulder, first of all, congratulations, because Boulder does not have a Kava bar. And so you guys have really got a niche market here. My friends, every one of them was like, okay, we will come here and hang out. This is just such a great loungy vibe, and it's just absolutely incredible.
That's super exciting to hear. We kind of wanted to go for just everybody's welcome. There's no one that, we're family friendly, everyone can come in and hang out and just feel welcomed and feel like they can just kind of make it their own home for the most part where they're here.
Yeah, my friend Chris and Anna actually brought their little girl River, and she was dancing the whole time. So my other friend Allegra and Mitch, they brought their little brand new baby, and it just really has a great vibe to it. And I want to clarify, so you moved to Colorado because CBD oil is legal here. Is that why?
Well, no. CBD is legal in all states now, from what I'm almost positive. I'm pretty sure. But Haley's Hope is the organization we use, and they've been amazing. But to be able to treat the seizures the right way, you have to have THC in it as well. The CBD will help So basically what happened was that he couldn't communicate whatsoever. So he basically would just fight us, and it was just a constant battle trying to figure out what he wanted because he couldn't talk to us.
Right.
And so we tried the CBD, and it opened up the receptors in his brain to be able to put together an actual sentence. Like the day that changed this was he picked up a quarter off the ground, and he said, "No, Mama, that's my money." And that was the most words he's ever said in a string. And
I can't imagine your reaction.
Oh, Katie about broke down and cried.
Oh my God.
And so but once we figured that out, we read a lot more about it. And then in order to really treat the epilepsy part, you really have to have the THC. It's not legal in Texas. So we moved up here so we could have access to that.
I just wanted to clarify that part of it. Eric, I would love if you would tell us the history of Kava.
Yeah, so Kava, originates in the Polynesian island chains. It's been used down there for the last 3,000 or 4,000 years as a ceremonial drink. Basically, when tribes would come together, instead of drinking alcohol and fighting, everybody would drink a bunch of kava and relax and mellow out, and then cooperate with each other, have a good time instead of butting heads. With alcohol, I always have this big vision of the big, huge Polynesian ships that they came from different islands and everything. And I was told in Hawaii by Kava Dave that this was a way for them to get rid of their body pains and, because they had been on a ship for sometimes weeks and months at a time. And so it really helped, it was for medicinal purposes just as much as it was about community. Yeah. I feel like here in America, kava was really brought back by surfers and sailors who have been traveling around and were introduced to this drink out on their travels and brought it back here to the States. Otherwise, and you see it started in South Florida along the coastline and has spread out along the country from there. So, yeah. Pretty cool drink. Yeah, I wasn't aware that it started in Florida. Now, normally at the top of the hour, we talk about what type of tea we're having. One of the great things I love about Root Kava Lounge is that you guys have so many different teas to choose from for somebody who doesn't want kava. And so, if you could tell me what type of tea you're having this morning.
Yeah, of course. It's a coconut. I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Rooibos, I believe, is how it's pronounced. Okay. And it is a delicious and just relaxing tea. And really, Katie, my wife, actually picked out all the teas with Eric's wife, actually. They kind of got together, and they're going to change it seasonally, kind of just depending on, fall. Kind of like a cocktail menu. They're going to change it as the seasons change. So we'll have different teas to offer as the seasons go by to kind of help move you into each one. But yeah, the coconut one that I'm drinking is just a very mellow, very just relaxing, soothing, and it's absolutely delicious.
It smells wonderful. And then Eric, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking just a plain Rasa coffee this morning. Rasa coffee doesn't have any coffee beans or caffeine in it, and it's an adaptogenic coffee, which basically increases the amount of time before you have a stressful response. And reduces the amount of time for you to come back to a nice and balanced state.
Wonderful. Yeah, I actually had some of that this morning at home. So I am drinking Katie's famous hot cocoa. She comes from a family that's of Mexican descent, and this is their family recipe. It has 4 different types of chili pepper in it, and it is absolutely incredible. So I'm luxuriating in this yummy hot cocoa this morning. Now, can you tell me the healing properties of what kava actually does to your body?
Well, kava has a lot of anti-anxiety and anti-stress properties to it. It's a really good, as I was saying earlier, really good social drink, and it kind of breaks down the social barriers that a lot of people have. And you'll see people come to the bar and they're putting off like a negative attitude, and they're closed off with their arms crossed or their legs crossed. And you watch them have a little bit of kava, and that stress starts to melt away. You see people who have never been here before turn around to the person next to them and start having a thoughtful and meaningful conversation. Honestly, you can see it happen to people just on their first visit. It's not something that has to take, like a build up to get to. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have an interesting story on the grand opening, the night of the grand opening. I had a colleague who I brought, and then his daughter and her boyfriend. They were like, okay, I don't know what this is. And by the end, they were ordering, I bought everybody around. And then by the end, he was like, I love this. And he got what's the one with the big one?
The Dirty Badger?
Yeah, the Dirty Badger. He got that. And his daughter was in so much pain because she was just in a car accident. And she was like, oh my God, I just feel so amazing right now. Like my pain is gone. And they were much more social. She was in a lot of pain when she came in here. And to see her get out of that pain was really miraculous to witness. And I'm sure you guys see this on a daily basis. It has to be really rewarding to see people's heart open and those walls come down.
It's super cool. I mean, to be real honest, like Katie's in my dream since we met. I mean, we've been together for almost 12 years, but we always wanted to open up a bar together, and that's what we've done since we met each other, like an actual bar. But then as we kind of grew older and we figured out, we're really trying the more natural methods for our son. It just made sense for us to kind of fall into the more natural path for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it's very rewarding to like open up a place that doesn't make someone have a false sense of confidence like alcohol does.
Yes.
Or just see like the turmoil and the problems that alcohol can cause throughout the night. It's very rewarding to see the people come in and actually truly benefit for something that you're giving them or selling them. They come in and they leave happy and they leave feeling better about themselves, and it's a better experience, and the conversations you have are more meaningful. Like, at a bar you hear the same conversation. I don't know how many times I've heard the same story over and over and over again, but here it's actual enlightening conversations and thoughtful and meaningful, and you can establish relationships because you still have clarity of mind, but you just feel very relaxed.
That is so beautiful. And I didn't even think about it from that perspective of being a Kava bar owner and, the juxtapose of you having owned a bar before. People don't have to get Uber. You're not worried about serving too much or anything like that, as far as DUIs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And instead, you're just seeing these beautiful metamorphoses happen right in front of your eyes as people are sitting there, and we all have boundaries and barriers and walls up, and to see those come crashing down just within one cup of kava has to be really amazing.
It's super cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other thing, I have to tell you my story of how I got involved with kava. I was actually going to be moving to the Big Island, and so I was watching anything I could about the Big Island, and there was the show about the farmers market that they have there in Hilo Town. And that's when somebody said, oh, we have a kava bar and we have a kava booth here at the farmer's market, and kava helps with pain. And at that time, I had just torn my meniscus in my knee, and I was trying to recover. And because of the way the tear was, the doctor said, surgery is not going to help this. So I had to live with this pain for 3 years. And so I was like, I heard about how it gets rid of pain. And so my best friend, I had brought her with me on vacation as a way to say thank you to her and for her always saving me. And she had just had a car accident a couple of years before that. Her and her kids were upside down in their SUV in a ditch from hitting black ice. And so when I drove, she would be like if a car would pass or anything, bless her heart. I mean, this was a really traumatic accident. And so driving with her while we're on this beautiful island and her doing that just really stressed her out, and it stresses, the driver out as well. And so we were going to be going from Hilo to Kona, which is about a 3-hour drive. And you go through the lava fields and everything. And I was like, okay, I have got to get her to have some kava maybe, because I heard that it relaxed, and I hadn't had any yet. So we went to the Kava Bar in Hilo Town, and Kava Dave was there. He does it the traditional Hawaiian way, which is you honor Father Sky and Mother Earth, and you do this clapping and all this stuff. And there's this traditional way to serve it for the islands. We had a big bowl that we shared, and all of a sudden my pain just went away. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it's the first time in like months that I didn't have pain without taking tramadol or something that's, has side effects. And I certainly didn't want to drive on that. Well, he had Kava brownies and he makes Kava chocolate bars. And all this stuff. So when he heard, what both of us were going through, he sent us with all this stuff, all these goodies. So my friend was like, so he gave us some of the brownie. He was like, have some of this right now. And I'm going to pour you guys another bowl. So we had 2 bowls between us, which is pretty huge. And then we had the Kava brownie. We got in the car and it was raining, which, makes everything more intense. And all of a sudden, about 30 minutes into the drive, I was concerned with pain because driving for that long, my knee would start hurting and my leg would go numb and my back would start hurting. So I noticed about 30 minutes into it, I was like, wow, I have no pain. And all of a sudden, my friend turns to me, and I didn't even realize it because I was focusing on the road. And she goes, wow, this is so beautiful. I actually love being in the car right now. And that was a clarifying moment for me because it doesn't make you have any kind of mind high like marijuana does. Mm-hmm. It just brings your body into a relaxed state. And so I got bags and bags of kava to bring back home with me. And that's what helped me because I used to travel all the time. I would constantly bring kava with me to help me travel so I wouldn't be in pain because I would do auditions sometimes 12, 14 hours a day when I was auditioning people for different TV shows and movies and stuff. So that's my story of kava.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And then I know that you also carry kratom. Can you tell me a little bit about kratom?
Yeah, it's a tree that grows in Thailand, and they use the leaves of the tree to grind up into a powder that we make into a tea. And there's three main categories. The red vein is more on the sedating and pain relieving side. The white vein is a little more energetic, and the green vein is more like happy and euphoric. And then, depending on which one you want and how much you have, at a lower dose, they're slightly, like the red vein would be slightly more stimulating at a lower dose, and then slightly higher dose, it's a lot higher on the pain relieving side.
Yes, and I actually had my first kratom experience with you guys. I had shoulder surgery and I was in so much pain that when I was texting Katie about interviewing for this today, I was asking her if there was anything that people could purchase and take home with them. And she said, yeah, we've got kratom. And I had heard about it. And I was like, what? So I literally came over, no makeup on, hair up in a ponytail, in so much pain. Thank God there was parking right out front. And you guys gave me some packets to try. I went home. I tried it. And I slept like a baby that night. I had no pain in literally all my pain was gone. I woke up the next day and I tried the white kratom, and that kind of amped me up a little bit too much, but the pain was gone. But I was kind of, I think I took a tablespoon, which probably was way too much since I had just had some the night before, of the red to help with the pain. But the pain was completely gone. And I have to say, I have not had to take any aspirin, ibuprofen. I haven't had to take anything. I have not had to take any more of the kratom, nothing, because it got rid of my pain, and the pain is completely gone. Nice. I can lift my physical therapists are like, what are you doing? Because I can now lift my hand above my shoulder, which they said could take up to a year to do that because of the reconstructive surgery I had.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So thanks, you guys. I really appreciate that. And then Katie told me to watch this documentary on Netflix, which was called Leaf of Faith, Leaf of Faith. And it's about kratom, and it's about how a lot of different vets come back and they have PTSD and they're addicted to opioids. And this show really talks about how you can get off of opioids with kratom. You can wean yourself off of it, and it helps with PTSD and all of that as well.
Yeah. Especially the red vein, it targets the opiate receptors in your brain, and so it's not an opiate, it's an opioid, so it has a much lower affinity than many of the pharmaceutical drugs. But it still attaches to those receptors and helps you make that gateway from these hard pharmaceutical drugs to an herbal tea.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot of really good benefits for doing that.
I know the night of the grand opening, I had a couple different people. I was telling everybody about it. Everyone knows the pain I've been in with my knee, and then I had to have a knee replacement and my shoulder. I've just been a freaking mess. So I actually had a couple people go home with the Kratom because they were like, "You're not in pain?" Wow. I mean, just myself, I was just a testimony to how well this works for the people that know me.
It's super cool to see that. I mean, like, especially people that, like in your case, that don't want to take, all their pharmaceutical opioids. It's a nice natural alternative to that. It just makes you feel better. You don't have to have all the nasty side effects that come with all the pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah, Katie's going to kill me. She's not here right now. She's going to kill me for saying this, but she was like, the best thing about Kratom? And I was like, what? She goes, it doesn't make you constipated. Like the opioids do.
She will tell you that right off the bat. She can't take them. She won't take them because it causes more harm than it does good for her because it backs her up so much. And that's another reason we did Kava because, and I'll be real honest, I had a problem with opioids when I was a little bit younger, and it's only been through Kava and through the teas that we found to be able to help me get off those too. And it's not only just something we do, it's something that I've kind of preached myself to because I didn't like the path that I was going down, and now we do the more natural route because it's kind of hypocritical to not try to do natural when you're doing it for your son and not try to do it for yourself as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having the vulnerability to share that. And, it is like the biggest secret in America, the way the doctors prescribe opioids. There's so many people that are just trying to manage their pain. It's not that they're bad people. They're just trying to manage their pain. And then the doctors take them off of it. And then what is worse is people start going on heroin and they start doing other things so that they can get rid of that pain in their body. And that's why I was so passionate about doing an interview with you guys, because I know that as hard as I used to work, I was in the entertainment industry in Hollywood and flying usually every other weekend to do auditions. And there was no way that I was going to be on pain pills for all of that, and so the Kava...
Wake up a month later, like, where am I?
Yeah, exactly. But the Kava got me through that. And I was able to maintain a great energy level. I was able to be present, didn't have to just do the alternative, which was the opioids. So... one of the things that I always like to close with is, how do you practice self-care? If you want to go first.
Probably just hanging out with my munchkins. I mean, I have 3 boys at home, so, we moved up here for my middle child, Maverick, but Ransom and Pierce are my other 2 kiddos, and they're 7, 4, and 3. And so they're pretty much a handful. So we go and do rough and tumble stuff and hang out and go hiking and have fun and play football. It's just, that's my source of relaxation and peace of mind for the most part.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's great you're a hands-on dad. And I know having this business of your own also allows you guys to have some flexibility with each other so that you can both spend time with them. So
yeah, it makes it nice.
Yeah.
It also kind of makes it hard. That's why Katie couldn't be here either.
Yeah,
it's like a catch-22, but it's super nice that we can spend. It's nice now that we're open weekend. One of us is always there with the boys at home to, take them in bed and make sure they have dinner and all that good stuff. So it's been nice.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what about you, Eric? What is one of your favorite ways to practice self-care?
Well, I live way out in the middle of the mountains.
Okay.
With absolutely no neighbors around. So I'd say mine is going home and working out on the property, whether that's, taking down trees for firewood or hiking with my wife and the dogs, just being outside and away. It's my perfect yin-yang. I come here and I get all of my personability and social skills out in the night, and then I go back up there and I just get to decompress and recharge for the next shift.
How beautiful. The Colorado lifestyle. Hashtag Colorado lifestyle. Real quick, let's talk about the CBD, how you infuse CBD into your kombucha?
Well, it's not really kombucha, but it's
Okay.
basically it's a CBD drink. It's actually Eric's recipe.
Oh, okay.
But we use a company called Discover CBD, which a lot of CBDs will tell you that they're water soluble, but they're not inherently water soluble. They'll dissolve for a little bit, and then they will either settle to the top or the bottom depending on what you have in there. And this one is the only truly water soluble, so it rather than just being at the top of the keg and it's done, it goes throughout the entire keg, so you feel the benefit throughout the entire length of the keg, rather than most places don't have that. So, and it's also very fast acting, so you feel the effects immediately, but it's just very calming. But then, yeah, Eric kind of just made the recipe for it, made it taste delicious.
It's absolutely delicious. I know we all had our kava, and then we all had the CBD. I thought it was kombucha that we were using kind of as a chaser. We were like sipping on it, and there's mango and all the different flavors, right?
We just have mango for the CBD right now. The other pomegranate one is our kratom tea that's on tap.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. All right. Yeah, you guys, they have really cool flavors. I've never had kava that was flavored before.
And that's the other big thing, too, is a lot of people have the misconception that kava is it only comes in pills or like you could buy at Sprouts or something like that. The kava that we serve is much stronger and much more effective than you can find at any store because of the way we prepare it. And it'll give you a totally different experience. That's why some people say that they tried, they didn't feel anything. Well, you didn't actually go to a true kava bar where it's being prepared like it was on the islands. And that's the way we do it. And inherently, kava doesn't taste good, so it's kind of hard sometimes.
It doesn't. And it makes your mouth a little numb. It's really earthy. It tastes like you're drinking dirt, It is.
It's a member of the pepperroot family. That's why you get the numbing on the mouth. And that's actually a key. If you don't get that numbing, you're not drinking good kava. So it's always something to look for.
Oh, that's a good point.
But yeah, the kava, because it doesn't taste good, they tend to flavor them with just regular sugary syrups at most places. But I kind of took what we did from bartending and made shrubs out of them. So it's all water and vinegar and sugar and whatever fruit you're going to use. And it helps flavor and cut the taste of the kava and gives you something more natural rather than just a bunch of syrups and stuff like that.
It was beautiful. I've only had it at the kava bars in Hawaii, and they do nothing with it. I mean, they're just like, drink your kava.
There you go.
But no, this was so good. It tasted absolutely delicious. All right. And how do people get in contact with you if they have any questions or for being able to eventually be able to order online with the Kratom and the Rasa?
So our location's 1641 28th Street in Boulder, and you can check out our website. It's www.therootkavabar.com, and then we're also all over Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can reach out to us through any of those methods, and we can get right back to you.
Awesome. And you guys that live here in Boulder, or if you're going to come and visit, this has such a swanky, loungy vibe. It is very relevant, but it's so relaxing and it's just a great atmosphere, and you're going to love the owners as well. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for our interview today and for taking time.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, and be sure to create an amazing day.
And that concludes tonight's episode. Be sure to check me out on my website, bodyworship.me, or my Facebook page, Body Worship Coach, where you can schedule a free initial consultation for personal empowerment coaching, holographic quantum long-distance healing sessions, the Happiness Project, which is known to stop panic attacks, anxiety, and depression within one session. I also offer past life regressions, workshops, and seminars. Join me next week to anoint your awareness with ancient knowledge and practices by tuning into another episode of Body Worship, an oasis for the mind, a temple for the body, a sanctuary for the soul. If you've enjoyed tonight's episode, be sure to subscribe and like the show at the link below. I'm Anna Marie with my lioness sidekick, Sophie, and you create an amazing day. Namaste.